The Raptors snapped their 6-game losing streak with a huge win over the Knicks, 113-106. Welcome to Raptors Tonight. I'm Randy Urban, joined by Sherman Hamilton, Jack Armstrong, and Leo Rautins. Sherm, Pascal was just awesome tonight. A career-high 52 points at the Garden. What stood out to you while watching his performance?
Can I just say everything and move on to the next person?
No, give me something. Give me some good stuff.
Absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, the interesting thing about what I saw Pascal do was it was consistent pressure on the paint. He consistently was in attack mode. And this was a game where, you know, you're hitting a really hot New York Knicks team who played last night, who just blew Golden State out the water. And Pascal came in there with the idea of it's showtime. I mean, the biggest stage in the NBA is showtime. But, you know, I like the fact that they allowed him to operate from the middle of the court. You know, he had the inability to be double teamed effectively with consistency because he was in the middle of the court. He abused every matchup there was, and he did it relentlessly. You look at the two middle quarters where he had 17 points in each quarter. That was game time. He was making big plays, and he was consistently putting them under pressure. But his relentlessness, his toughness, his decision-making, and I just thought he was off the charts good tonight. And he backed it up from Philly's game because he was really good against Philly. He took it to another step in this game. He was really special tonight.
Leo, season high 38 last night, career high 52. When I'm watching him, I'm watching that step back, and it just looks so much quicker than it has in past years. And it's fluid, and it just looks, you know, unstoppable at times.
Well, hey, you know, what were we saying about, you know, 4 weeks ago? We're talking about how he's one of the toughest matchups in the NBA. He's playing at all-star level. And then things just kind of faded a little bit. Well, this is right back to where he was, right? This is what the Raptors need. I mean, their ceiling is Pascal Siakam, right? So when he plays like this, it's a different team. But I want to make this point. Hey, he played great in Philadelphia, right? Did a really good job. But there's a difference between Philadelphia and this game. The last time the Raptors won was December 7th. In that game, OG, Pascal, and Fred all scored above 15, right? And he didn't get the support in Philadelphia. In this game, Fred gets 28, OG gets 15, along with the 52. And the big three for the Raptors have to all contribute, have to all play. You just can't have one of them put, like, when, you know, Fred had a 38-point, 39-point game, the Raptors didn't win those games because there wasn't enough helping out. So here was a great 52-point performance. He stepped up where they needed it. He made big shots, but other guys were playing. Other guys were making plays that have to. Fred hit big three down the stretch. Things like that matter if you want to get a W.
Jack, the All-Star voting is going to start soon. He has to be an All-Star.
Absolutely. Like that's not even that's a no-brainer. I mean, honestly, I don't even know where to go with that question. I mean, he's a no-brainer. He definitely deserves to be there. So I'd be shocked if he isn't. And, you know, now, you know, it's a matter of is he a starter? And if you look around right now in the Eastern Conference, he's making a strong case for that as well. So, you know, it's pretty historical what he did tonight, not only from a Raptor perspective, but LeBron, since 1968, since this building was opened, there's only one other player in the history of Madison Square Garden that's done what has happened tonight with Pascal, and that's LeBron James. In terms of over 50 points and over, you know, the rebound numbers, the assist numbers, you name it. And so it's historic. So when you're doing those kind of things, that not only merits an all-star berth, it merits consideration as a starter.
And, you know, regardless of record, because we all know that they do try to, you know, reward players that have winning records. But Sherm, let's go to the team holistically now. What were you seeing tonight that maybe you weren't seeing in some of the 6 games in those previous losses?
Well, I talked about this after the Philly game. I feel like the Raptors defensively started to find themselves again. They held Philly to 31% in that first quarter. They did a good job holding them to 40% for the game. And that, to me, is more the DNA of this team when they start to come back to who they are. And in this game, they struggled a bit at times with the field goal percentage of the Knicks, but there were junctures of the game where their defense was completely off the charts. They were relentless at times. That zone really helped them out. They did a great job in that zone, but they had the offense to back it up, and that's where the difference is. But I think from a defense perspective, when this team gets back to that scrappy, turn you over, get out in transition, score off of transition, attack your offensive glass, when they play that brand of basketball, that lets me know that they're starting to get back to who they are. And I saw that against the Philly team. They weren't able to win that game, but at moments tonight, they were that team defensively, and Pascal was off the charts offensively, and that really tipped the edge for them.
Yeah, and Leo, you need a little bit of luck too, right? Just moments before Fred hits that 3 to go up by 4, which created a little bit more breathing room. OG saves it and somehow goes through Randall's hands and then into the hands of the Raptors. You need plays like that. It doesn't feel like they were getting many of those these last 6 games.
Yeah, well, what's the old saying? The harder you work, the luckier you get, right? So, I mean, yeah, you always got to have a little luck. But, hey, by the way, on that play where OG saves it, he blocked R.J. Barrett's shot, and it's the first time they forced him right. The first time they forced him right, and you got to stop. The rest of the game, he went left and scored the whole time. So, you spend millions on scouting. Sometimes it's pretty simple. But, I'm going to agree with what Sherm said that, I'm looking at this team the last 2 games. I go, okay, I recognize this team. All right, this is the way the Raptors play. They didn't finish in Philadelphia, but the defense, the intensity, the way they're getting after you, they're coming into you. They're not the ones being hit; they're hitting. When they play like this, they're a different team, and so it's actually it's a relief to see it again because I was really concerned, going like, wait a minute, like where's this gone? This is not who they are. Now we're seeing the team that we know who are the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, Jack, was there another performance you thought was crucial to the win?
Well, Leo touched on having, OG Anunoby and Fred VanVleet. A few guys, I would say Malachi Flynn.
Yes.
I think he was a team high.
Big block at the end.
Yeah. Aaron Gomez, Thad Young, all did a really good job because Scotty Barnes struggled tonight. And it's interesting. Scotty Barnes is just a classic young player, plays well at home, a little erratic on the road. And that's something that he's got to grow into. But he had some great passes tonight. He had a few like highlight reel passes. So it wasn't like it wasn't like one of those nights where nothing went right. But I would say those 3 guys jumped off the page at me. And I made a point tonight about Chris Boucher in terms of shot selection. I think, I think there are times I know he tries so hard and he's so fired up, but when you're struggling with your shot, play to the things that you're really good at currently and stay away from the things that aren't working for you, and you can still contribute to winning. So, he's still working through that. I know he will. But bottom line, you not only need your top guys to play well, you need your secondary guys to play well. And the other thing is this. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Raptors are a 500 team with OG Anunoby when he plays. And they are 0-4 when he doesn't play. So I think you just add OG Anunoby back to your team. You're just sounder, steadier, smarter defensively, and it allows them schematically to do more stuff because he's so smart, and he's seen it all and done it all for both Dwayne Casey and Nick Nurse in his time as a player with the Raptors. So that makes a big difference.
And you mentioned Malachi. He was a team high plus 15 tonight. Played ton of minutes in the fourth quarter, which is amazing to see. I know Raptor fans love it when he gets out there. Sherman, I want to talk a little bit more about the defense tonight. Nick Nurse would go from man to zone, and I thought it was really effective in this game. But why is that so effective? Like, how come NBA teams have such trouble adjusting on the fly like that to a zone?
There's flowing games, and sometimes players and teams in general struggle to recognize and flow with a change in a defensive assignment. And it's one of those things where Nick Nurse was very good with the timing of when he was putting that zone on and the timing of when he went to man and the different ways that they attacked Brunson. They did a great job on Brunson. He's the kind of the catalyst for everything. And I thought they sent that double team when he turned his back, and when he spun back, he saw another body. He had to get rid of the basketball. And now that throws the Knicks into a different playmaking mode. Other players have to make plays where Brunson would make the play for the teammate or for himself. And to me, that's the comfort level that the Knicks have had on their winning streak. Jalen Brunson makes things happen. Everybody else falls into place. Well, they went after Jalen Brunson, put him in some difficult situations, threw that zone at them, man-to-man, they got into people, and I think that changed the flow. And it's difficult for teams to adjust, but I think we saw the Knicks team that struggled at the start of the season. We didn't see that Knicks team that has been on this 8-game winning streak or 7-game winning streak. And that's because the Raptors threw what they did at them, and they reverted in a lot of ways. But credit the Raptors. They got into them at times and really made them struggle.
Real quick, just to tag Sherm here. You know, I said it pregame. These are the toughest games to play when you're the home team. You're coming off a huge win last night. Everyone's patting you on the back. It's the holidays. A lot of times guys come in a little distracted. And I thought the Raptors came out, they were really ready to play tonight, Toronto. And, you know, they could have done any different defensive plan, whatever it was. Like Matt and I was sitting right next to the bench. Those guys were dialed in, man. They were ready to play tonight. And from the first quarter, which they won on, they controlled this game because they deserved to win because they were ready to play.
Yeah, you said in the broadcast that you noticed something in the warm-up. What did you see?
I just saw guys breaking a sweat, going hard, you know, talking to each other up. The huddles were very intense. The bench, the guys that weren't playing were really into it. There was spirit. They were rooting for each other. It was almost collegiate. You know, it was like a collegiate type of vibe tonight. And, you know, and Leo and Sherman, you guys know this. And I made the point on the air about the Leafs. All these Ontario kids that come back and play against the Leafs in Toronto, the Leafs get everyone's best punch. And when you play in the Garden and you're the Knicks, you better be ready because teams come in, they want to play great on the big stage. You don't think Pascal Siakam knows he's in New York? Come on, right? And he was hooping tonight.
Leo, I just want to go real quick to Joel Embiid because I saw this during the broadcast on Twitter. And apparently after the game against the Raptors, he said, when you play a team like Toronto, they don't really care. It seems like most of the time they don't care about winning. They just want to shut down the other star players. Like, what is that about? Isn't that how you win games?
Let's see. Yeah, coming from the guy who's shown us over the years just how much he cares about winning. Okay, all right. I got it. I'll leave it at that.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to comment because I've gotten death threats from Philadelphia fans, so I don't need any more death threats. It's the holiday. So Joel Embiid is a great player. I love him.
Quickly, going back to the Knicks, Sherm, are the Knicks a playoff team from what you saw today?
I think over the last 8 games, we've seen the potential of this team to be a playoff team. And in the East, I think they should get in, whether it's a play-in or a late seed. They've shown enough that they can be a playoff team. I just think they got to find a consistency. And I don't think this 8-game winning streak is a sample size to judge them on. They played great. They did a good job defensively, but they still have some flaws that they revert to. And we saw the glaring flaws in this game against the Raptors. So they haven't convinced me that they're an elite team, but I think they can make it into the playoffs.
All right, guys, great stuff. Going to stop it there. Let's see what Pascal Siakam does next game. 38 on Monday, 52 tonight. Just crazy. Next game for the Raptors is Friday night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tip-off goes at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And after the game, be sure to catch Raptors Tonight on YouTube and NBA TV Canada. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.